Assalamu alaikum students, welcome to your first class of social studies. We are going to start off with the history portion first. Then in the second term we are going to do geography portion. So the first chapter of your history portion is called Early Pakistan, and it is starting from page number 76. So this is your page number 76. We are going to start off with this chapter, and I hope you have gathered your books and everything. And I'm going to start reading the chapter. If you do not have any access to your book, then you can just listen to this lecture very carefully. So I'm going to start off by reading this first paragraph of your book. But before that, I just want to ask you a question. Do you have any idea about Indus Valley civilization? You must have studied in your previous class or previous schools, or you must have heard it from someone. Or do you know who were the Dravidians? Um, okay, so as you know, students, that Pakistan has history of 5,000 years, and the early civilization starts from Indus Valley civilization. So, what is civilization? Civilization is basically a society, culture, and a way of life of a particular area or region. Okay, so the earliest uh, civilizations that started from the Indus Valley civilizations. Okay, so very long ago, when there was no facility of electricity, telephones, mobiles, or roads, and there was no transportation and communication, um, can you imagine what kind of life that would be? Um, if you are given no access to any sort of basic necessities of life, which we call now the basic necessities of life, like electricity, transport, communication devices, laptops, mobile phones, cars, aeroplanes, and all those things. So back then all these things did not exist, and people did not used to live in muddy in fancy houses, big houses. But they used to live in muddy houses. There was no transport, nothing, no access to transport or any electricity, and they used to live in muddy houses, and they used to cook with burning fire, with by burning wood. They used to cook with the help of wood. They used to burn wood, and then they used to cook their meals. And uh, it is still going on in some part of the countries, especially in the remote areas and the village areas. If you travel to village areas, you will still see, especially mountainous areas, you will still see people use wood to they burn wood and then they cook their food. So this was very common back then, thousands of years ago, when there was no when there was no electricity, or no stoves, and no electric ovens and these sort of things. So people used to use woods to make their food, and they used to use animals as a mean of their transport. They used to travel with the help of oxes or bulls, and they used to drag people, and also they were used for carrying goods and people from one place to another when people migrated. As now we use aeroplanes and cars, that time people used to use animals. So the life was very slow, and it would just revolve around the village society, basically what we call village now. So because there were no modes of transportation at the point of time, so people used animals. So they were restricted to a certain area or certain village. People did not travel long distances back then, like they travel now because of aeroplanes and because of easier access. And there was the education was education was not that common at that point of time, and people were not very literate, and they did not have papers to write down or pens to write down. They did not have any government. The verbal communication was also poor, um, and there was no money based system at that point of time. People did not take and give money to each other to buy things. People used to give goods. This was called a barter system, in which we give goods or anything else in front. If I wanted to buy something, I will just give you some goods or some other things instead of money. So there was no money system at that time. People used to exchange things together, or goods together. So this was a brief uh, highlight of the Indus Valley civilization. So now I'm going to start reading the first paragraph of this book. For thousands of years, different races have poured through the Khyber and Bolan passes, especially from Central Asia into the northern part of the subcontinent. So back then, as I told you, that there was no Pakistan that time, this whole region was called the subcontinent, the Indian subcontinent. This whole region was called Indian subcontinent. The countries that are present in the Asian region right now, this whole region was a subcontinent. This was one region. These countries were part of a one region called the Indian subcontinent. Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, they were part of one region in the Indian subcontinent, and Central Asia was these countries. This was Central Asia. This part was called Central Asia. As you can see, the something a little part of Pakistan as well. So people used to travel from this part to this part of Central Asia. So and they used to um, uh, come through these Khyber and Bolan passes. These both passes are present in Pakistan nowadays. If I show you the picture, this is the map of Pakistan, and this is Bolan Pass. It's near Quetta, and this is Khyber Pass. It's near Afghanistan. It's in the northwest side of Pakistan. As you can see, it shares the border with Afghanistan, and you can see the border line over here. And this is near Peshawar. I'm going to show you the picture of Khyber Pass. Wait, this is Khyber Pass. This is a picture of Khyber Pass. It's located in this region. It's located in this region, in the northwest region of Pakistan. In Bolan Pass, this is Bolan Pass. It's present in Balochistan district. This is present in Bolan district. This is Bolan Pass. It is present in Balochistan district in the western side of Pakistan. So people used to come from these areas to Central Asia, to this India, to Pakistan. So why did they migrate at that point of time? Because with good farmland, plenty of water, and in past times many forests, it must have seemed a wonderful place after the dry plains of their homelands. So people used to travel because they used to search for food, and they wanted to live in a better places where they had easier access to food, water, shelter, farms, and all these things. So this area that we call Pakistan now, or this area, the subcontinent, the Asian subcontinent, was full of all these things. It was full of food opportunities and water, and wonderful places, forests. So and also, as well as plenty of food, there was gold and silver too. So this was a rich area. At that time, this area used to be a rich area. So therefore, food, besides food and shelter, there was gold and silver too. So some invaders, they came to raid for treasure and to take prisoners for slaves. So people used to invade at that point of time. People used to invade other countries or regions or cities. So people used to, the invader you used to come to this region to search for gold and silver, and they used to stay there. But some of the people, they also went back after taking food and gold or other things. Other games to conquer and stay. Many of these invaders, conquerors, or raiders, they both are the same thing, settled down, especially in the northwest where Pakistan is now. So they settled down in this region, which is now Pakistan, in this region. Okay, this is northwest region, which is now Pakistan and India and all these. So people used to migrate from Central Asia to the northern part of the subcontinent where Pakistan is located now. And they have added a wide range of races, languages, and customs to our country. So most of our language and races, they are very old. They are very they go back to these times because the people, they migrated and came to Pakistan, to this region. So they also brought with them races and languages and cultures and different customs as well. So now, Mohenjo-daro and Indus Valley civilization. So about 4,500 years ago, there was a mysterious and very civilized state in the Indus Valley. It stretched over almost of what is now Pakistan and eastwards to Delhi. So the remains of the two great cities, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, as well as hundreds of villages, have been discovered. So because these people, they came here and they settled in the north, in Pakistan region and some parts of India as well. So their remains are still present in the form of these two cities, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. There's still some remains of these two greater cities that are still present. You can just go and visit them if you ever get a chance in life. So Mohenjo-daro is located in Hadappa, Sindh, and in the Sindh district in the Sindh province, in the Larkana district, it is present. Some remains of the city are still present there, and Harappa, as you can see, where's Harappa? It's here. It's located in the Punjab region, near the Sahiwal district. It's near Lahore. Okay, as you can see from this picture, and you can also see the picture of aerial view of Mohenjo-daro on this page of your book. So the remains, okay, so the people populating these villages were called Dravidians. So the people who were part of these villages and these were called Dravidians. These are the part of these are called Dravidians. Dravidians are people who were living in these villages. They used to be called Dravidians and seem to have been more civilized than any other people in the world at that time. So they were one of the most civilized people. This is one of their traits, that they were one of the most civilized people in the world at that time. Mohenjo-daro was about 7 kilometers all round. So it was all round 7 kilometers, and its main streets were 9 meters wide. So 9 meters is not really wide as you can see roads nowadays. It's narrow, and they also used to have streets within streets. So and between these range smaller streets. So between main streets they also reigned they also there also were smaller streets, which often with this type of shape, this Z shape, bends in them. They had this type of bends in them. Okay, so these, if you see this the shape Z, it has sharp corners. Okay, so these streets used to have sharp corners. So can you think of any reason why these roads and had sharp corners in them? So now students, I'm going to share a documentary by National Geographic with you. You have to watch this documentary because it's very useful. It's about Mohenjo-daro and Harappa and the history, and you have to watch this. And at the end of this lesson, there are some words, a list of words which you have to learn regularly till we finish off with this chapter. You have to learn at least 5 words a day. Okay, I'm going to give you the list of those words. Actually, it is at the end of this lecture. You can see the list of those words. You have to learn them regularly. Okay, and you have to watch the documentary very carefully, and you have to finish this whole lecture. Okay, and if you have any problems, you can just contact us on the school's contact number, and we will answer your queries there. Any kind of question that you have, if you have related to the subject, to the lesson, if you are having any sort of problem, you're not able to understand anything, then we are going to you have to contact the school number to answer your questions.
The ancient city of Mohenjo-daro is one of the first urban centers in human history. Nestled in southern Pakistan's Indus River Valley, Mohenjo-daro is the largest and best preserved city of the Indus civilization, the earliest known civilization of the Indian subcontinent. Mohenjo-daro was built around 2500 BC, about the same time the Great Pyramids were being built in Egypt, and it spanned a surface area of nearly 500 acres, an incredible size for a city of this time period. Because of Mohenjo-daro's grand scale, archaeologists believe it may have served as a seat of power for the Indus civilization. The city was divided into 2 districts, the Citadel and the Lower Town. The Citadel is home to the city's exceptional monuments, including the Great Bath, a 900-square-foot tank fed from the Indus River. Mohenjo-daro also had a sophisticated water system. Houses had baths and toilets, and the town featured both an elaborate sewage system and fresh water in 700 wells throughout the city. The Roman baths, some of history's most famous waterway systems, weren't constructed until many hundreds of years after Mohenjo-daro's Great Bath. Mohenjo-daro has no places of worship or governance, such as palaces, royal tombs, or temples. This may indicate that the society was not built around state interests like the Egyptian and Mesopotamian societies at the time. Rather, the class structure of Mohenjo-daro may have been relatively equal. The city's second district, the Lower Town, may demonstrate the society's egalitarian structure. The Lower Town, with its intricate water system, was home to between 20,000 to 40,000 people. Unlike many urban areas of its time, it was laid out in a grid system similar to modern-day city blocks. After approximately 600 years, the city collapsed. No one is quite sure why, but the cause could potentially have been a change within the culture, or in the path of the river. Without its crucial source of water, the city's residents may have moved away, leaving Mohenjo-daro nearly abandoned. In 1911, nearly 4,000 years after the city fell into ruin, archaeologists paid their first visit. The ensuing decades of excavations have unearthed countless clues that tell the tale of Mohenjo-daro, but it still holds secrets for us to discover.
So students, you must have watched the documentary about Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, and now these are the list of words that you will have to learn. You can learn 4 words each day, okay, and you have to learn the meanings, and you have to write the words down so that you do not forget the meanings and of these words. Okay, you have to write. These are the words which I've picked from your chapter. So we have to learn 4 words each day, so that you should be familiar with these words whenever it whenever you hear them, you should know the meaning of these words. So this is your task for today, and also you need to revise the lecture, and you have to uh, read this whole page again. Okay, and you have to read and go through this page again, and if you're having any sort of issues, you should tell it on the school's contact number, and we will answer your queries. And I hope that you are going to focus, and you're going to learn and research on your own as well about these cities, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, because this whole chapter is about them, and we are going to read it in the next time as well. And if you did not understand anything, you can ask me. You can ask it. You can write down in the comment section as well, and you can just contact the phone school, and you can just leave your questions there, and I'm definitely going to answer your questions. Okay, so till then, take care, and wash your hands regularly. Allah Hafiz.